Greetings, ghouls and ghosts, and a very happy Halloween to all of you. Is Halloween really supposed to be happy? It's supposed to be evil! Alright, fine. Happy Halloween. And yes, the Steam Scream 4 Halloween sale is officially underway. We thought it would be fun to gather up some of our favorite spooky steals that you won't want to miss. So raise your credit cards from their graves because they're about to start heating up and eating some brains. Please note that all prices are in USD. But real quick, support real people making real things. Head over to patreon.com/idreamofindiegames and you'll gain Discord access to the greatest indie gaming community. Enjoy early ad-free shows, get a shout out at the end of every video we produce, our podcast 3 days early, and so much more. Don't let the undead echo chamber bring you down into their grave. Your new indie gaming community is waiting for you. First up, we have a suggestion from our community member, Duck. A huge thanks for mentioning this one. The Midnight Walk is 40% off, bringing the price down to $23.99. This game comes from the creative folks that brought us Lost in Random and is noted for its amazing visuals that call back to classics like The Nightmare Before Christmas, with some incredible stop-motion animations. While it's not said to be a particularly deep gameplay experience, players have noted its wonderful atmosphere, sound design, and storytelling methods. This is a great time to grab it right before Halloween, $23.99. One of my favorite indies of the year was already cheap to start with, but now it has become even more enticing. That's Devolver Digital's excellent Look Outside, which we do have a full review for here at the channel. Enjoying a lovely 30% discount, Look Outside is a dark sim meets RPG meets survival horror title. Yeah, that is a lot, but the game pulls everything together brilliantly. It also has a wonderful, albeit dark, sense of humor. Don't pass up this one. Another hell of a deal from Devolver Digital, who have many in this sale, would be Bleak Sword, which is a staggering 75% off. This indie release puts players into compact dioramas of sorts and challenges you to survive as long as possible. Its grim themes work well, and it's very easy to pick up and play while being ever so addicting. Just be prepared for a challenge. It is not an easy game. Alright, I catch a lot of flack for liking this next release, but I'm a defender of it, damn it, even knowing it has some pretty serious flaws. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy your time with Sense, a cyberpunk ghost story, which has a big-boobied robotic protagonist, a surprisingly decent story, and some clunky but tolerable point-and-click style mechanics. I'm not selling this amazingly, I know, but in all seriousness, there's a lot to like about this neon-soaked world, which, in fairness, has received quite a few updates since its initial release. The price is definitely right now at just $6.99. Let's spin over to Killer Frequency next, a wonderful narrative-driven mystery of sorts where you play as a radio DJ who starts receiving cryptic calls that leads to a greater mystery. This feels particularly immersive as you can spin various records. You truly are a DJ running the show. It's spooky too, as the studio becomes filled with various haunts. At 80% off, it's a no-brainer if you like a bit of camp in your horror gaming experiences. While this release also wasn't perfect, as I reviewed it here at I Dream of Indie Games myself, it does have enough redeeming qualities to warrant checking it out with its 60% discount. That game is CONSCRIPT, a survival horror release that puts you in a war setting filled with grisly sights and sounds. It takes a very classic approach with its combat and inventory, but the setting of the game, for as much as we see it used in FPS titles, it's surprisingly underutilized in horror, I feel like, and works effectively here. Pick it up for just $7.99. Now, I'm not the biggest online gamer, but I have to admit that the Outlast Trials got its hooks into me, and it's received tons of great content updates since its initial release. The game plays very much like any other Outlast title, except in a more team-based environment. Solve puzzles together, avoid traps, and dodge out of the way of some crazy psychopaths that will track you down endlessly. While the base game is 70% off, bringing it to $11.99, there's also a starter pack edition available for just a few more dollars. Well worth it. Just in time for the newly released sequel, you can nab yourself the original Tormented Souls at 75% off for $4.99. Now that's highway robbery. Tormented Souls is an awesome throwback survival horror title that calls back to classics such as Resident Evil. It has wonderful visuals, storytelling, and the gameplay doesn't feel as ancient as you might be expecting it to. The intro for Tormented Souls makes it worth playing alone, so definitely pick up this indie gem and maybe consider the follow-up, which also has a 10% discount. I'm sure that will drop in the future, but support great indies making great things. A game that needs no introduction, Slay the Princess is a dark choices matter narrative-driven experience that will ask you one not-so-simple question: should you slay the princess or not? In truth, things are far more complicated complicated, and your princess can be a bit moody at times. The game has tons of different outcomes, top-notch writing, and amazing art. It should definitely be in your horror gaming collection, especially at that sweet 35% discount that brings it to $11.68. Roulette with a shotgun? Ugh. Buckshot Roulette makes me a bit squeamish, but those that have played it love this devilish game of chance. I've even seen it getting more and more popular in local conventions, like last year's PAX. There was a line to play it. You can stare down the barrel of this 40% discount and grab it for under $2. Nice shot. Now, I haven't played this one myself, but I do hear good things about Mouthwashing. I mean, I'm not talking about hygiene here. You know what I mean? The game's called Mouthwashing. It's a short narrative horror experience with some truly disturbing art and sound design. With overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, fans are loving its creepy visuals, old-school controls, and haunting story that will stick with you long after gameplay has concluded, apparently. It can be yours for $9.09 with a 30% discount. Now, I love me a good typing game, and I've been meaning to give Blood Typers a go for myself, so maybe I should finally type in my credit card information and grab it at 25% off, as it just recently got a brand new update. What's interesting about Blood Typers is that it can be played with friends as you explore a film studio, typing your way through hordes of monsters in an attempt to escape. Be careful how you spell, because one wrong word could mean the end in this indie release. It is $9.36. I guess Ed Gein has been on a lot of people's minds lately, not only because it's Halloween time, but also that recent Netflix show, which is super creepy, by the way. While we're in that Ed Gein mood, I guess if you I don't want to be in that mood. Either way, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's a decent game where a buddy or two can join you online for some chainsaw killing fun. You can, of course, control the titular character or one of the family members, or you can be an innocent person trying to escape the madness, which I find to be more fun. It is a good time and a little bit underrated in my opinion. A great deal at 50% off for just $9.99. Next, we have an insane deep discount, 90% off. This dark, turn-based tactical roguelike, it's Iratus, Lord of the Dead. In this indie release, you control a necromancer who raises an army of the undead to do his biddings and take out pesky humans. World domination, that kind of thing, but for the dead. Reviews for the game have been very positive, rightfully so don't get caught dead without having this game in your collection before the sale ends on November 3rd, by the way. Hurry on up, these games won't be this cheap forever. Now all aboard the choo-choo train, we got a crazy deal coming up. This is the well-loved Choo Charles, a first-person nightmare-themed shooter that looks like Thomas the Tank Engine gone bad. You'll be battling an evil train across various tracks, and you'll be doing it much cheaper than usual, 85% off. Hoo! $2.99. All aboard indeed. Next up is a game that can be yours for literally 80 cents. That is insane. What costs 80 cents these days? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, I'm here to talk about The Cat Lady, a spooky, old 2012 release that follows a lonely, elderly woman whose life is forever changed when 5 strangers come knocking on her door. This spooky, story-rich adventure will leave you on the edge of your seat and has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam if you don't want to take my word for it. We all need a crazy cat lady in our lives, right? So do it. This is less than $1, literally. Point and click fans, I didn't forget about you. A little bit of gothic, spooky fun here. Nothing too gory, so relax. 85% off. You can check out Gibbous, a Cthulhu adventure. Ugh, aren't you supposed to say that all weird? I don't know. This game has it all. Lovecraftian demons, tricky puzzles, comedic writing, and even a talking cat. The animations in this one are excellent, and there's more than 70 fully voiced characters in this world, making it a steal at just $2.99. This is another one that I reviewed years ago, and I really enjoyed it. There's also a hint system if you tend to get stuck in your point-and-click adventures. Always welcome. If reality isn't nightmarish enough for you right now, well, then you might want to check out Infliction Extended Cut, which really impressed me back when it released. You can explore an idyllic family home that's plagued by a dark entity and try to figure out what happened to cause the darkness to set in. If these walls could talk, they would tell you all the dark secrets contained in this home, which you'll explore in the first-person perspective. At a spine-chilling 85% off, it's hard to argue with picking up this well-received title for just $2.99. Spooky good! Do you feel that chill in the air? This place is either haunted or we have ourselves another historic low here, folks. I'm thinking it's the latter, as Necrobarista is on sale for just $2.99. This extra special cafe gives the dead one last chance to socialize with the mortal realm in this story-rich visual novel. There's a super stylish anime presentation on the menu with a side of hipster-worthy coffee and some emotional musings. Definitely a bit more on the chill side, but I've always enjoyed my coffee iced. Anyways, from the coffee shop to the pub, 10 Bells comes recommended from community member Bucky's Revenge, which, by the way, you can become one in our Patreon, just saying. This pub is less fun evening out and more escape room as you attempt to find a way out of the tavern while keeping an eye out for anomalies. Dive further and further through this dark world and unravel the narrative yourself for just $2.49. 10 Bells is 50% off. Nice. And coming in dead last, ironically, is an I Dream of Indie Games classic, one of the first games we ever reviewed on this channel. It's Daymare 1998, so I'm going a little bit nostalgic here, okay? Going off of memory, I believe this nightmare started as a Resident Evil 2 fan remake of sorts that Capcom promptly shut down. It ends up being a really fun, albeit super clunky game that calls back to classic survival horror. The game went on to get a really good sequel too, which is also on sale for 50% off. The original Daymare 1998 is a whopping 90% off, making it just $2.99, less than a cup of Dunkin' coffee. And that's gonna do it for this list, folks. We hope you find some awesome, horrific releases and have a miserable day. I'm just kidding. It's Halloween. I love you all. Voice to the voiceless, and let us know in the comments below some of the games that you're going to be picking up in the amazing Steam Halloween sale.